Hello, everyone. Welcome to my podcast. I'm very glad you're here today. My name is Ute Pfeifer. I'm from Germany. And in this section, I'm your professional personal coach. And I will talk about good intentions, how to successfully turn them into reality. Throughout my career, I've held many different positions. And after selling my own company, a large construction planning office that I founded and ran with my husband, my work changed fundamentally. Yet I can honestly say that taking responsibility, making decisions, and leading people has shaped me and helped me grow. All of these experiences now flow into my work as a coach. Through my own training and in practice with my clients, I've seen just how powerful it is when head, heart, and creativity are connected. I share my knowledge and experiences out of deep conviction so that you may find inspiration to shape your life consciously, freely, and holistically. In this episode, I invite you to explore the so-called good intentions, what we desire, but where we often stumble, and most importantly, how change can succeed in a way that it is self-appreciative, self-loving, honest, and sustainable. Together, we look at the path to a good, fulfilled, and happy life, one that truly works. Most resolutions fail because they are based solely on your intention and completely ignore the circumstances, the things needed for success. The moment you make the decision to achieve or improve this or that, you feel strong and you are sure that the change will happen. But weeks or months later, life has gotten in the way. Your motivation has faded. Old habits have returned and your hope and positive mood have disappeared. And none of what you set out to do has happened. You are frustrated and disappointed in yourself, and perhaps you feel even worse than before. We will look now at how you can deal with your good intentions so that positive and sustainable changes occur step by step. Let's assume that you wish to lead a balanced life, a life in which you eat healthily, integrate sufficient exercise into your everyday routine, and organize your time in such a way that there is enough space for sleep and restful periods of relaxation. Let me just mention that the approaches I'm showing you here and now also work perfectly for all other good intentions. So let us get started. Typical resolutions sound like, I'll try to eat healthier. I'll try to exercise more. I'll try to sleep more. But let's be honest. Do you really just want to try with an uncertain outcome, or would you rather make a conscious decision that leads you step by step towards change, without room for excuses, procrastination, and failure, without taking responsibility? So don't just try when you really want something. Once again, how could you formulate your resolutions? It's important to formulate them correctly so that you create a good foundation. I will eat healthier. I will exercise more. I will sleep more. But let's pause again for a moment. Healthier than what exactly? Do you already eat healthily and need to eat more healthily? And exercise more than how much? What sports are you currently doing, if at all? and you want to sleep more, how much more would it be? It is not about more, better, less, not at all. It is about clear. Clear goals lead to more sustainable behavior than unspecific improvements. The difference is crucial. Not eating healthier, but eating healthily. Not more exercises, but regular exercises. Not sleeping more, but getting enough sleep. Language acts as a cognitive structure. It influences how goals are mentally represented and how actions are ranked. Clarity compels you to act. Your language is not a nice accessory. It is a powerful tool. And as long as you speak vaguely, your behavior will remain vague. So the next time you say, I want more of this or that, pause for a moment and decide how you can be clear about what you want. Change begins with awareness, and sometimes a precise word is enough to change behavior. Say, I eat healthily. No ifs, no ands or buts. Specify further if possible. Fresh vegetables, sugar-free drinks, low-fat food. The clearer, the better. It is worth taking another detailed look at our language when we talk about motivation, especially at modal verbs. Good intentions are often formulated as follows. For example, I should tidy up the basement. I should take care of my parents. I could call my old university friends. The sentences sound at first glance harmless, but they are not, definitely not. And this is where it gets interesting, because the subjunctive keeps everything open. It allows excuses and alternatives. It does not commit you to anything. Modal statements do not refer clearly to what is, but to what might also be possible. They open up so-called possible worlds. The problem with this is that there is a difference between what we say and what we feel or really want. Modal verbs such as shall, must, can, may, want, and like do not express an action, but rather a possibility, a necessity, an expectation, which do not exist in reality, but rather in what is conceivable or theoretically sensible. We use them particularly often in the subjunctive. I should, I ought to, I could. You say, I should tidy up the basement, but you feel, I don't really want to. Or we think, actually, I don't know what for. No wonder then that motivation is lacking. Here too, motivation comes from clarity and not from should, must, or could. From knowing what you really want, and let us have a deeper look into it, what it costs not to do this or that. Ask yourself the following 3 important questions. First, why or why not? Second, what will happen if I do it? Will happen today, tomorrow, in 3 months, in a year, in 5 years? Third, what will happen if I don't do it? And be realistic, don't sugarcoat it. The questions will bring you back from non-commitment to responsibility. because motivation does not come from external pressure, but from meaning and inner consistency. For example, your intention is, I do sports. What will happen if you do it? What will happen if you don't do it? And I think the answers are obvious. And there is another important question, or rather two. What has prevented me, means you, in the past from turning my intention into reality, and what is preventing me in the present from turning my intention into reality? There can be many reasons, but I would like to focus on two common answers here. First, perhaps your intention, your goal was too ambitious and the challenge too great, so that in the context of your other tasks and commitments in life, if you are honest, it was simply unachievable from the outset. The goal you set yourself, as you formulated it, was simply too big. And second, you have not given your new resolution the necessary space, especially in terms of the time required for implementation. Or you still believe that good intentions can be realized simply by expressing them without the need for external circumstances to change. But please note, change requires action. And there is a beautiful quote attributed to Albert Einstein. Hoping for change without doing anything about it is like standing at the station waiting for a ship. But first things first. Your goal is ambitious, and perhaps that is why you are too strict with yourself, which carries the risk of you giving up. Take small steps. Set yourself sub-goals. Achieving them is motivating to continue and represent small but significant success. For example, as someone who is not yet sports-oriented, you want to become a sporty person. The first step is, I exercise for 30 minutes twice a week for the next 2 months. This is clearly formulated, achievable for you, and keeping to it will help you progress. You still need to decide how you will spend those 30 minutes exercising. Depending on your abilities, it could be an online gymnastics course. Perhaps you have an exercise bike at home, or you could go for brisk walks. As we have learned, it is important to be clear. Next, create the framework for your plan. Establish the framework for your plan, which means first and foremost the time frame, but also space. Without the extra time you calculate for healthy eating, for example, it won't work. You will have to shop for food more consciously. You have to research recipe books or the internet. Try out new dishes, which is a bit time-consuming at first, and cook yourself, clean the kitchen. Perhaps only twice in the evening at first, because you are, what is recommendable, taking small steps. You can also start with a healthy breakfast and keep everything else the same at first, gradually increasing your efforts. Space could mean lovingly create your quiet place to sleep, have a fixed place for your sports gear, buy healthy food and place it where you can see it. For example, a bowl of fresh fruits, a shelf with nuts. Back again when we are talking about time. For all people, the days have 24 hours, and without question, you also have just as much time as before while you realize your new resolutions, which require time. This could be a problem for you, and perhaps that was actually the reason why you failed to keep your good intentions in the past. How do you deal with this? In brief, ask yourself the question, to what am I saying no when I say yes? Means yes to my good intention. When you decide to do something, when you say yes to resolution, you automatically say no to something else. If you decide to exercise every day, you automatically say no to watching television during this time, scrolling through your phone, or other activities that would otherwise take up your time. And it's about more than time. For example, it's also about changing your habits. Those who decide to eat healthily are saying no to quick snacks, for example. And what else I would like to tell you in all clarity? First, structure gives your intention a place in daily life. It means deciding how and where you will implement your intention. For healthy meals, this means planning your menu, shopping, and meal times. Second, build a system. A good sports system, for example, keeps you moving when motivation is low. Fix a regular time for activity. Prepare your clothes or equipment in advance. What means your clean sportswear is always in the same place. Your sport socks are washed, your trainers are clean. You are on time and ready to start now. Third, make it measurable. What is not measured is difficult to improve. Use an app or a small notebook to record how often you manage to eat healthily or go to the gym, for example. And what is important to know, setbacks are normal. One slip up does not mean you have failed. And this is why I would like to share this one important thought with you. Say to yourself, tomorrow I'll start fresh again. And the best for last. Reward yourself, but wisely. Rewards reinforce positive behavior. Celebrating both small and big successes is essential. But the reward should support your intention and not undermine it. If your goal is healthy eating, do not reward yourself with a slice of sweet cream cake. Examples of good rewards are taking time for a walk in nature, watching your favorite movie, buy yourself new workout clothes or wellness items, scheduling time for rest, enjoying a relaxing bath or quiet evening with a book, and allow yourself to feel really, really good, accepted and loved by the universe. And now we come to the end after this tour. No matter what went through your mind during the podcast, whether it were your good intentions, little habits you want to adapt or break, or the big questions of everyday life. Don't try to tackle everything at once. Just take what you really need and what feels right for today. You don't have to be perfect. Just being curious is enough. And if things get difficult this week, don't worry. Detours can also help us move forward. I'm glad you took some time for yourself, for me and my message. Thank you very much. And until next time, be good to yourself.